I would want someone to warn me if this was going to happen. So it's only right that I warn you. Oh, look, also, I just got back from Dubai, and I want to talk about that a little bit as well, because I know why this immigration stuff's happening. And I've got something to tell you. I am going to tell you straight away, by the way, so don't freak out with this whole kind of, Tim, get on with it. I'm going to tell you right now. And it's important. And it's going to be something that you're going to have to understand and realize and acknowledge. And we're going to have to go through that whole kind of acceptance piece. It's going to be a nightmare. Before I do, listen, I made a video about a year ago where I said something like this. It's a pretty simple message in this video. If you are English and you leave England, don't come back. And that was pretty full on. I got a lot of hate for it. And as I said, I've just come back from Dubai. It's not like I've got a fresh perspective or anything about it as such, but I do want to just give you some facts and figures. And here's the first one right now about living in England, or living in the UK under Labour, let's just say, living in the UK under Labour. If you earn £200,000, now I don't, by the way, but if you did, you're going to pay £90,000 in tax and insurance. I'm going to say that again. I'll say it again because a lot of people go, shut up, Davey, shut up, mate. Now, if you work for a firm, they're going to pay your national insurance for you, but your tax bill is still going to be 70 something. If you know the exact figures, because you're an accountant, whack them down in the comments and I'll give it a like, right? Because I think this information needs to get out to everyone. So £200,000, you're earning that in the UK. 90, by the way, 90 is going to go to this government. And that government's going to decide what to spend it on. And you and I, we know it's going to be on immigrants coming in, housing, hotels, food, eat pretty well, apparently. Just today I'm speaking, there's just been an attack at Heathrow, which I can only assume is involved in some kind of random bunch of people that shouldn't necessarily be here. Now, look, I'm not here hating on immigrants, and this is what I want to talk to you about right now. Here's another stat for you. Right? I want you to listen to this one. I couldn't believe this when I heard it, and I still can't believe it, but it is true, apparently. Let's take the UK and let's take Germany. Now, we've all got demographic issues, and those issues have come about by we're not having kids. Yeah, we know that all around the world. Yeah, you could trace it back to feminism if you want to go down that road, but I don't want to do it on this video because I'll get lots of hate in the comments. But in effect, back in the 60s, we said, of course, women can have it all, which is a lie, coming into the workforce, and there weren't the jobs, of course, so wages stagnated, and then we get both parents in work. Have you seen what school fees are? I haven't got kids. My wife and I couldn't have children. Have you seen what not school fees? Well, yeah, school fees. But have you seen what childcare fees are? This is the criminal thing about it. And at every step of the way, our governments have prevented people from, like the ethnic populations, from having children, of course, because they wanted women to come into the workforce. And that's fine. Don't get me wrong. You can hate on it if you want. And I do hate on that personally, because I think there's a place for a woman to be building a house and to be creating that environment. And I think it's fantastic and beautiful. Maybe that's my Christian self coming back, I don't know. But either way, never going to stop a woman going to the workplace. Why would I? It's not about that. But here's the thing. We didn't have kids, did we? In fact, the UK is having 1.55 children per couple. That's pretty much what it is. Germany, however, is having 1.3. Now, the replacement rate, that's what they call it, is actually 2.1, apparently. Some people say 2.2, 2.3 if you want to offset aging and things like this. But irrespective of it, I'm not intelligent enough to work out what those figures really kind of mean at the top end. 2.1 kind of thing. The country sustains itself and it can grow, this capitalist ideal. And I am a capitalist, we all are, right? But just getting bigger and bigger and bigger and growing. Like, I always thought, why do we need to do it? Why can't we sort of stay where we are? You know what I mean? Apparently we can't. We've got to keep growing. Anyway, Germany is more turbo messed up than we are. That is a fact. We are turbo messed up here in the UK. So this immigration is a recognition of the fact that we're not having kids. We cannot sustain, and this country will not grow, and pensions for the public sector and everything will not get paid and also every pension, everyone's pension, old age pensions will not get paid. National health service, education, all these things will collapse unless we bring in immigrants. Now, here's the fact I'm going to give you right now. You're going to tell me in the comments that I'm smoking a crack pipe. I'm not. I don't drink anymore. I don't do any of that stuff. Trying to live a virtuous life. Christian life's best I can. But here's the thing. In Germany, every year, they need 700. No, wrong. That's us. No, wrong. Even that. Germany needs 2 million immigrants to come in every year. How long would that be for, Davey Zing? Because someone did tell me. Oh, yeah, I know how long it is. Forever. For the rest of time, they need 2 million immigrants to come in. You can check that fact and figure if you want. Google it if you want. I couldn't believe it. I had to Google it, I had to research it. 2 million immigrants. Now, how many do we need to come in? Between, they reckon, 300,000 and 500,000. I've seen 400 banded around. I've seen 300. It's that kind of figure. Every year, forever, we need those immigrants to come in. And you wonder why they're saying, oh, we're trying to stop the boats. We're trying to stop people coming in. They're not, aren't they? Immigrants are in the Home Office, at border control, rubber stamping other immigrants coming in because they need it. We can't survive otherwise. Now, here's my message to you. And yeah, it's not a message to you really. It's a warning, isn't it? My warning to you is this is happening. It's never going to end. It's never going to stop. It's never going to get any easier. We are going to get flooded with immigrants. Now, here's the thing. We can do one of two things, can't we, about this? So you've got these three positions before I talk about these two things we can do. You can become an ethno-nationalist like Steve Laws and some other kind of crazy cats where they want, and he speaks pretty well, they want like 100% like white, British, whatever you want to call it, English, Scottish, Welsh. They want that 100%. And I understand that, but you're never going to get it. Not if you want to pay the pensions, you want to have the healthcare and everything else. That's another story, right? That's ethno-nationalism. Arguably, if you want more than 50%, which I say I would, they would call you an ethno-nationalist. You've got cultural nationalism, and that's where I am, because I grew up with people like, I watched a documentary last night on Chris Eubank, what a fantastic guy, fighting Michael Watson, Nigel Benn, all that era, Frank Bruno. So I grew up with those people. They've got the same, they share the same couch, they don't look like me, but they got, I mean, Chris was born in the UK, but his parents are from Jamaica. Linford Christie, Daley Thompson, all these, Linford Christie was born in Jamaica, but Daley Thompson, Frank Bruno, all born in the UK. All these people I grew up with, and my kind of Gen X era did grow up with that, and it wasn't a thing at all. Now it is apparently, but it wasn't a thing. So they have this, we shared a culture. So I'm a cultural nationalist. I believe if you share our culture, you can be British, of course you can, whatever. It's, yeah, come in, no worries at all, all right? But of course at the time, it was quite a small number, wasn't it? It wasn't really altering the fabric of what it meant to be an Anglo or a Saxon or a Jew, whatever it was, you know, going back at Norman, all those kind of things that make up us. Anyway, so that's, yeah, that's fine. Anyway, so, or you've got ethno-nationalism, cultural nationalism, and then you've got civic nationalism, of course. And a lot of people on the left just think if you stamp a passport, you can be British, and it's rubbish, of course. But that's exactly what's happening. That's who our government is. As long as you stamp a passport, Kemi Badenoch is a classic example, and she's on the right. So it happens across the board. She's an anchor baby. Her mother came here, gave birth to Kemi Badenoch in a hospital. They went back within about 3 weeks. Kemi was then educated in Nigeria, educated in America. Then she came back here. She got dual nationality, of course, because she was born here. Is Kemi British? Is she English? It's like Shabana Mahmood saying she's English. She's not. We know that. So don't get wrapped up in it, but just accept what I'm saying. It's never going to stop. There's nothing we can do about it. It's never going to stop. Now, that is defeatist. Now, I went to Dubai. My brother works out there. He's a good man. He's in an airline. He does very well. He loves the place. He works really hard. He said, come out. I went out there. You know what I mean? Had some menu with him. Had some food. And we had a good time. In Dubai, you don't pay any tax at all. So when people had to go at me in that last video saying, Tim, you don't understand. And I was like, mate, fight for this country. They're like, you don't understand, Tim. Like half my wealth is going. You know what I mean? This country's being overrun. I understand the individualistic ideal that states every man for themselves, right? It's going to get wealthy. And that's why it's never going to end, by the way, because all the pension funds and all the shareholders and all the, what I would call elites, are never going to let you do what you want to do, which is return all the immigrants back home. Never going to do it because everything collapses. House prices will fall. You won't have the equity in your property to sell when you get old and buy your bungalow and then go on cruises. Therefore, you're not paying back into the economy to keep the economy going. It's like the Ajax project. The armed vehicle is about to get cancelled. £4 billion worth of waste. Or is it £4 billion worth of waste? Because we know that defence in the UK is just a creche for white middle-aged dudes like me. That's why I don't work in defence anymore. So you can pay them money so they can go and buy cars they can't really afford, and it keeps the economy going. When women, going back to the beginning of this video, came into the workplace, what did they establish? What did we establish? Human resources, HR, didn't we? Personnel. And that was, and it is still, let's be honest, just a daycare for women so they can get paid some money. And that's what the NHS is for immigrants. Just a daycare, pay them money. They can spend it on property. They can spend it on rents or whatever, buy cars, that kind of stuff. And it keeps the economy going. It's never going to change. That's why they're paying for the hotel. Well, you're paying for the hotels, by the way. I'm paying for the hotels. That's why we're giving the immigrants money. Bring them in. Hopefully they're going to be of some value to the country. They're going to spend that money. They're going to pay taxes. It's going to keep this churn going on long enough for the elites to cash out. We all know it. I sound like a little socialist, but I'm not. I'm being a realist. So if you want to go to Dubai, and I don't, but oh, it's fine. Don't get me wrong. I just got a bit bored, you know what I mean? But, you know, whatever. But you save your money. There is a very animalistic entrepreneurial thing out there, isn't there? Where's the cash? Where's the cash? I get all that. I get it's bling. I'm over the bling now. My wife and I, we live in a house that's like 5 years old. Half the roofs are falling down at the moment. We're repatching them right now. You know, we're not wealthy, but we're happy, really happy. I didn't really see that out in Dubai. I didn't really see it. Saw a lot of malls, but you'll be saving 90 grand on 200,000. How do you not go to Dubai? Tell me right now what you're thinking of doing, because I'm interested. My wife didn't like it. I'm not going. I didn't like it. I'm not going. All right. But I understand why people are going. Are you thinking of leaving the UK? Because in that last video, yeah, maybe I was a bit of a dick, right? I still have a belief. So I think the thing that I'm warning you is that it's happening. We've got to rationalize it. We've got to understand it. We've got to think about what we're going to do. Now, you understand what I talk about: fitness, family, finance, fuel, and faith. You've got to start looking at who you are and what your standards. I'll leave with this story. Come back from the airport. All right. Men on a train of about 40, Stellas in hand, getting smashed up, swearing all over the place. But they're not violent men. They're just there. White dudes like me. And there's some young girls down the carriageway. But those young girls are swearing. It's a Saturday night, valid, all right? It's about 10 o'clock in the evening. You know, I'm all right with dudes like that. I grew up with men like that. But I'm like, are they men? What are you doing swearing in front of young women? What are you doing swearing anyway? What are you doing drinking a Stella on a train, mate? Come on. They're going home. It's like, when did we kind of lose what it meant to be responsible, upstanding, civilized? So the people that should be teaching the next generation are acting like dickheads. And the younger generation, down the other end of the train, are acting like dickheads. Everyone's acting like a dickhead. My wife made that point. She goes, yeah, we rip into the immigrants, don't we? But actually, there were no immigrants on that train, mate. I was like, yeah, fair one. Just British people acting like dickheads. But you know how I feel about immigration. I'm just trying to have a bit of a conversation about standards. I appreciate your comment, guys. Whack it down there. Let me know what you think about what I'm saying here, because it's never going to end. Have a good week. Tim Davies, Fast Ship Performance.